Ladies and gentlemen, since the Jacksonville shooting, a lot of people have been raising their voices against the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, for heightening the hate and the rise of hate groups in his state. Now, of course, when he was confronted, he denied everything. A lot of people feel he is 100% responsible for that shooting that occurred in Jacksonville at the Dollar General. And of course, being the person that he is, and many like him, when it comes down to the negative things that they cause, they don't want any accountability for it. But anything positive, they'll gladly stand up and take credit, even taking credit for things they clearly didn't do. So we have seen what he's done down there. We saw what he's done to African American AP history and how that's being rewritten right before our eyes. They're writing a history that never happened, and they're presenting this to your children down there in Florida. He got rid of the diversity programs that were set up in colleges and universities. And, it's just been so many things. Him harping and always talking about woke, 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 and of course that's going to get the attention of the people that are filled with hate. Look, that kid, that 14-year-old that tried to drown a black teen in Massachusetts, he came out of Florida. He was only up there to visit his father. But look at what he did. Look at his mindset. And he's being raised in Florida. There's many like him, but I'm just saying this governor, y'all, he's not going to take any responsibility for what he's done. But he is indeed responsible for everything that's going on down there. And it's not good. It's not good. So let's get into this story. So this is one that recently came out, and it's talking about the rise of hate groups going on down there in Florida. And I mean, come on, we knew this day was coming. It didn't take a rocket scientist to see that this day was coming when it comes down to Ron DeSantis. Okay, y'all, let's get into this story. Governor Ron DeSantis criticized for rising hate in Florida as neo Nazis march in Orlando. Neo Nazis gathered in Orlando, Florida earlier this month, leaving residents and community leaders deeply concerned about the rise of white supremacy activity in the state. Now, state, local, and elected officials have begun criticizing Governor Ron DeSantis for his inactivity in addressing the rise of neo Nazi rhetoric in the state. You know why he's not addressing it? Because he's not bothered by it. Look, y'all, back in 2022, Ron DeSantis invited cops all over the country that have been fired from the force. Now, many of these cops, some of them have killed people and got fired. Some of them have harmed people and got fired. And Ron DeSantis opened the floodgate for those cops to come down there and fill positions in Florida. So you don't think some of them might not be part of neo-Nazi groups? Of course they are. So according to Rolling Stone, the march which was a merger between two neo Nazi groups, the Blood Tribe and Goyim Defense League, saw over 50 members participate in a show of intimidation and bigotry. The neo Nazis, many of whom were reportedly not Florida natives, had traveled as far as Canada and California to join the demonstration, wearing red shirts, dark shorts, and masks covering their faces, brandishing swastika flags, and performing the stiff arm Hitler salute. And they did this around a freeway overpass in Alamonte Springs, down there in Florida. The hate filled rhetoric continued just a week after the mass shooting in Jacksonville, where a gunman with a swastika on his weapon shot and killed three innocent Black victims before taking his own life. And many hold Ron DeSantis responsible for that shooting because we know what he means when he says woke. Woke means black. That's what it means. And he knows it too. Critics have been quick to condemn the inaction of Governor Ron DeSantis, who has not condemned the neo Nazi actions because he's not bothered by it. Come on, listen to all this woke talk from this man. Does he seem like he's going to be that deeply bothered by neo Nazis? Of course not. He's not bothered by it. That's why he's not saying anything. Okay, so people are saying they have been calling on Ron DeSantis to speak up against all of the neo Nazi activity that's going on in Florida, and he has not done so. Many argue that DeSantis' silence is making him complicit in the rising tide of hate in Florida. The state has seen a sharp increase in harassment, vandalism, assault rising from 196% in 2019 in comparison with other states with large, minority populations. They always got to throw that in, such as New York and California. They're talking about the city locations and big cities around the country. They have the activity, but right now it's less than what they have in Florida. So the ADL has recommended that elected officials and community leaders consistently and strongly condemn the extremism whenever and wherever it occurs. Now, however, DeSantis' camp has struggled to follow this advice, often resorting to false flag conspiracy theories and deflecting responsibility. Yeah, well, that's what he's done when it came down to the Jacksonville shooting. He didn't do nothing but deflect. So the governor has been accused of playing a role in the victim and turning a blind eye to the neo Nazi action in the state. According to an investigation researcher for the ADL, Florida's neo Nazis seem to be using DeSantis and his political imagery to popularize their hatred. Their goal is to reportedly gain attention and normalize hate down there in Florida. Wasn't it already normalized? That's normalized all over the US. Wow. DeSantis and the governor's staff have maintained that these hate groups are not true supporters of his and that they are attempting to smear him. Yeah, but they're saying you are not speaking out at all. That tells me he's complicit when it comes down to these groups. That's why he's not saying anything. So the rise of hatred in Florida is not limited to just neo Nazis. No, Governor Ron DeSantis made, uh, he really made political theater out of critical race theory, woke, all right? And, there's other groups that are down there complaining. Okay, y'all. So I'm not surprised Ron DeSantis is really bringing down the state of Florida. And it's a shame how we are all in front row seats watching the whole thing happen. But, I partly also blame the White House. They have not done enough to speak out against everything that he's doing down there. They just, what, Kamala took one trip down there to make a speech. Well, that's not good enough. That's not good enough at all. So, y'all, now you also have to remember back in the spring, it was the NAACP that issued a travel advisory citing that Florida was openly hostile towards African Americans. And, you know, as you can see, nothing has changed. If anything, it has gotten worse, especially over these last few months down there in Florida. And I just can't see anything getting better as long as Ron DeSantis is the sitting governor in Florida. Am I surprised about all this neo Nazi activity and the rise of hate down there? No, because that governor has done nothing but open the door for it to happen in Florida. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Like I said, they're rewriting the Black history right in front of our faces. They are now firing teachers or any principals, teachers, or anybody that makes any attempt to teach Black history in the classroom. You know, so you can't say that Florida is trying to maintain the peace because that's not what we see when we hear things out of Florida. We hear things to the contrary. So if it's not like that, nobody opposing Ron DeSantis is speaking loud enough for us to hear you. It might be people speaking internally, but not on a national level where we can all hear it. And it just seems like Ron DeSantis got free reign to do whatever he want in that state, and whatever bad happens, he doesn't want any responsibility. And if y'all remember, he took a DA, a Black woman DA, and he fired her because she was holding cops responsible. See, that's the kind of stuff he is doing down there. So I had somebody try to tell me, oh no, he's really not against Black people. Yes, he is. His actions says it all. Okay, you can't tell us one thing and then we're looking at something completely different. And that's the problem. Y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.